You can't be satisfied just getting the gist of something. You have to read, study, and return to the same books over and over again. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, understood this deeply. He himself would quote the philosopher Heraclitus, who said, "We never step in the same river twice. The river changes, and we change. Every time you revisit a great book, like Meditations, you see it differently because you are different." Marcus didn't read something once and think he had it mastered. He read it repeatedly, reflecting on its lessons and applying them to his life. And this is a book worth returning to, a collection of private thoughts from the most powerful man in the world at that time, written not for anyone else, but for himself. One of the most compelling parts of Meditations comes at the very beginning. He writes, "Today, the people you meet will be jealous, stupid, annoying, frustrating." He lists all the flaws you might encounter in others. This isn't to start the day with negativity, but to prepare yourself. The unexpected blow lands heaviest. If you think everything will go your way, you will be sorely disappointed. Instead, anticipate difficulties so that when they arise, you are ready. But Marcus doesn't stop at observation. He goes deeper. He reminds himself that these people are not necessarily evil. They simply don't know any better. They haven't had the same training in philosophy, in self-discipline, and most importantly, you cannot let their ugliness corrupt you. You are meant to work together, to be brothers and sisters. You cannot allow them to implicate you in their ugliness. Marcus believed in living by guiding principles, what he called epithets for the self. He wanted to be honest, calm, fair, brave, generous, and still. These were not just words, they were standards to live by, values that shaped every decision. What are your epithets? What words would you want to define you? At the core of Meditations is gratitude. Almost 10% of the book is dedicated to debts and lessons, where Marcus expresses appreciation for those who influenced him, his teachers, his friends, his family. He wasn't showing off. He never meant for this to be read by others. Expressing gratitude was a way for him to ground himself, to remember the qualities he admired and wanted to embody. Generosity was one of those qualities. During the Antonine Plague, a devastating epidemic that swept through Rome, Marcus didn't retreat in fear. Instead, he sold palace furnishings to help pay Rome's debts. He was emperor, yet he lived with the understanding that wealth and power were only meaningful if they were used for the common good. Marcus reminds us that we always have the power to control our perceptions. You always have the ability to have no opinion. That's a superpower. You don't have to be outraged. You don't have to react. You can just let things be. Let the weather be the weather. Let politics be politics. You can choose not to let external events dictate your inner peace. One of his most famous lines, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Philosophy is not about endless debate. It is about action. The greatest contribution of Marcus Aurelius was not what he wrote. It was how he lived. He demonstrated that an emperor, a person in power, could still be decent, disciplined, and just. Another key lesson: you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is the Stoic idea of memento mori. Remember, you will die, not as a morbid thought, but as a motivation to live well. We delay things, thinking there will always be more time. But tomorrow is not promised. Live as if this is your last chance to do the right thing, to be kind, to fulfill your potential. Marcus was strict with himself, but he was tolerant with others. He understood human nature. He knew that some people would always lie, steal, and cheat. Instead of being shocked by it, he accepted it. Is a world without shameless people possible? So why be surprised when you meet one? One of the most humbling passages in Meditations is when Marcus reminds himself that even the greatest emperors before him are now forgotten. Names that once commanded armies, that once had statues in their honor, now dust. And one day, even his name will fade. It's a stark reminder that fame and recognition are meaningless in the long run. The only thing that matters is, did you live well? Did you act with virtue? Marcus never sought power, and when he was told he would be emperor, he reportedly wept. He knew how many bad rulers had come before him. He feared he wouldn't be good enough. Yet he rose to the challenge. He reminded himself, if it is humanly possible, you can do it too. So pick it up, read it, and then read it again. Not just to get the gist, but to live by it, to apply it, to return to it over and over, as Marcus did.